Today we will learn about direct proportion. Amit bought 2 chocolates for 20 rupees and Nisha bought 4 chocolates for 40 rupees. Can you tell whose chocolates were more costly? Think. Let me tell you, we can say that the ratio of the number of chocolates purchased by Amit and the number of chocolates purchased by Nisha is 2:4. That is 1:2. Similarly, the ratio of their values is 20:40. That is 1:2. This shows that as the number of chocolates has doubled, their values also doubled. In this way, the price of chocolate depend on their number. We can say that here the ratio of number of chocolates and the ratio of their values is the same. In this way, if two ratios are the same, then they are in proportion. To indicate equality in ratios, use this sign or this sign. On the basis of proportional relationship, we can say that the cost of chocolate was same for both Amit and Nisha. Many times we encounter situations such that if one quantity increases, the other also increases. For example, if the number of chocolate increases, their price also increases. But in each case, the ratio of number of chocolates and their prices will be same. If there is an increase in one quantity X in such a way that the other quantity Y also increases in such a way that there is no change in the ratio X by Y, then we say that X and Y are in direct proportion. In such case, X by Y is constant. Let's consider this as K, where K is a positive number. We can say X is K multiplied by Y. In case of direct proportion, if value of X is X1, X2, X3 and so on, and corresponding values of Y is Y1, Y2, Y3 and so on, then we can write X1 by Y1 is equal to X2 by Y2 is equal to X3 by Y3 and so on is equal to K. In such a situation, both the quantities vary directly. That is, they are directly proportional, which is represented like this. This symbol means is proportional to. In this way, we read the statement X is proportional to Y. In this case, the number of chocolates is proportional to the price of the chocolate. Now, let us understand some situations involving direct proportion. A machine makes a few items in a day. If we increase the number of machines, what will be the effect on the number of items produced? Think. Yes, here the proportion of the number of machines will increase or decrease in the same proportion. The number of items will also increase or decrease. Therefore, we can say that the number of machines and the number of items is directly proportional to it. Now tell me, is there direct proportion between the area of the wall and the amount of paint required to paint it? Think. Yes, we need the quantity of color according to the area of the wall. That is, the ratio by which the area will increase or decrease, the amount of color will also increase or decrease by the same ratio. Therefore, the area of the wall and the required amount of paint are also directly proportional. Is the number of laborers for certain job also directly proportional to time? Think. No, they cannot be in direct proportion. Because if the number of laborers increases, the time required will be less. But if the number of laborers decreases, then the time required will be more. In such a situation, there is no direct proportionality. Instead, there is inverse proportion. We will understand this in a separate video. So today we have learned about direct proportion. In the next video, we will see some interesting examples on it. Today we will see examples related to direct proportion. If a train travels 180 kilometers in 3 hours with the uniform speed, how much distance can the train cover in 7 hours? For the given conditions, we can make a table like this. When the time is 3 hours, then the distance is 180 km. When the time is 7 hours, the distance travelled by the train is y2. Here, uniform speed means that a fixed distance is covered in a fixed amount of a time. Can you tell whether there is a direct proportion in both time and distance here? Think. Let me tell you, when the speed is fixed, more distance will be covered in more time and less distance in less time. In the given case, both quantities increase or decrease in such a way that the ratio of their corresponding values remains constant. Therefore, we can say that time and distance are in direct proportion. In the last video, we learned that if x is directly proportional to y, and if the values of x as x1, x2, x3 and so on, and values of corresponding y as y1, y2, y3 and so on, then x1 by y1 is equal to x2 by y2 is equal to x3 by y3 and so on. So, for the given situation, we can write 3 by 180 is equal to 7 by y2. That is, y2 is equal to 7 multiplied by 180 divided by 3 kilometers, which is equal to 7 multiplied by 60 kilometers, which is equal to 420 kilometers. That is, the train will cover a distance of 420 kilometers in 7 hours. Can we solve it with unitary method too? Think. Absolutely right. We can solve it with a unitary method. The train covers a distance of 180 km in 3 hours. In this way, in 1 hour, it covers 180 by 3 km distance, that is 60 km. Therefore, in 7 hours, the train will cover a distance of 7 multiplied by 60 km is equal to 420 km. Let us now see the next example. Meena writes 92 words in 4 minutes. If she has to write an essay of 480 words, find the time required. For the given situations, we can make a table like this, where x2 is the time required to write 480 words. We know that the time required will increase in the same ratio in which the number of words increase. So here, time is directly proportional to the number of words. In case of direct proportion, if x is directly proportional to y, then the value of x and corresponding values of y we can write x1 by y1 is equal to x2 by y2 is equal to x3 by y3 and so on. Therefore, we can say that 4 by 92 is equal to x2 by 480, means x2 is equal to 4 by 92 multiplied by 480 minutes is equal to 20.86 minutes. Therefore, Meena needs 20.86 minutes to write an essay of 480 words. Let's see the next example. If two workers together build a 50-meter long wall in few days, how many such laborers can build a wall of 75-meter length in the same number of days? Here, when the number of laborers is 2, then the wall length is 50 meter. We have to find the number of laborers so that a wall of 75 meter length can be made in same number of days. Let's say that X laborers make 75 meter long wall. Work will also increase in the same ratio as the number of laborers will increase. In this way, the number of workers and the length of the wall is in direct proportion. So, for the given situation, we can write 2 by 50 is equal to x by 75, means x is equal to 2 by 50 multiplied by 75 is equal to 3 laborers. Therefore, it will take 3 laborers to build a 75 meter long wall. So today we have seen examples related to direct proportion. In the next video, we will see some more examples related to it. Today we will see some more examples related to direct proportion. A recipe requires the following ingredients to make 15 biscuits. If Meena wanted to make 400 biscuits with this recipe, find the quantity of ingredients required. Ingredients required to make 15 biscuits: 105 gram butter, 90 gram flour, 75 gram sugar powder, 30 gram chocolate. Here we are given the quantity of ingredients required to make 15 biscuits. The ratio in which number of biscuits increases is same as the ratio in which the amount of an ingredient required increases. Therefore, we can say that there is a direct proportion between the number of biscuits and the amount of ingredients. Let's find the ingredients required to make 400 biscuits. We can show the relationship between the number of biscuits and the quantity in grams of butter like this. Suppose the required quantity of butter to make 400 biscuits is Y1. Since the number of biscuits and the required quantity of butter is directly proportional, 15 divided by 105 is equal to 400 divided by Y1. Therefore, the quantity of butter, that is Y1, is equal to 400 multiplied by 105 divided by 15 gram is equal to 2800 grams is equal to 2.8 kilograms. We can show the relationship between number of biscuits and the quantity of flour in this way. Now suppose the required quantity of flour to make 400 biscuits is Y2. Since the number of biscuits and the quantity of flour is directly proportional, 15 divided by 90 is equal to 400 divided by Y2. Therefore, the quantity of flour, that is Y2, is equal to 400 multiplied by 90 divided by 15 gram is equal to 2400 grams is equal to 2.4 kilograms. Now, you can pause the video and find the amount of sugar and chocolate required. You will get 2 kilograms of sugar powder and 0.8 kilograms of chocolate for making 400 biscuits. In this way, ingredients required to make 400 biscuits are as below. Let's see another example. The distance travelled by Akash is shown in the map given here. If he travels a distance of 300 meter in 360 steps every day, then find how many steps he must have taken to get from his initial place to the final place. Here, total distance travelled is 14 meter plus 45 meter plus 18 meter plus 15 meter plus 13 meter is equal to 105 meter. We can show given situation like this where x represents number of steps required to cover 105 meter. We know that the ratio with which the distance traveled increases, the number of steps also increases in the same ratio. Therefore, here the distance and the number of steps are directly proportional. Therefore, we say that 360 by 300 is equal to x by 105 means x is equal to 360 by 300 multiplied by 105 steps is equal to 126 steps. Therefore, Akash must have travelled 126 steps from his initial place to its final location. Now, you must have understood direct proportion clearly. Today we have seen some more examples related to direct proportion.
Today we will learn about inverse proportion. In the previous video, we discussed the situation when two quantities simultaneously increase or decrease in such a way that the ratio of their corresponding values remain constant. In such a situation, we say that the two quantities are in direct proportion. Now, let's look at the opposite. There is a big tank here. This tank takes 12 hours to be filled with one tap. Will it take more time or less time to fill the tank? Think for a while. Absolutely correct. Putting two taps will fill the tank quickly. That is, it will take less time. Since the number of taps here has doubled, the time will be halved. That is, 2 taps will fill the tank in 12 divided by 2, which is equal to 6 hours. Similarly, if we use 3 taps, then the tank will take 4 hours. In this way, we can make the following table. Here, we see that if the number of taps increases, then the time required decreases. And if the number of taps decreases, then the time required increases. For example, when the number of taps increases from 1 to 2, the time decreases from 12 hours to 6 hours. The number of taps here has doubled, but the time to fill the tank is halved. In this way, we see that the ratio of the number of taps in terms of the first and second position and the time required to fill the tank is inverse of each other. In any case, if we multiply the number of taps and the time required to fill the tank, then the product remains a constant. If we denote the number of taps by x and the time required by y, then as x increases, y decreases, and as x decreases, y increases. But xy is always a constant. In such a situation, we say that x varies inversely with y, which we represent in this way. In this way, if xy is equal to k for two values x and y, where k is a constant and x is proportional to 1 by y, then we say that x and y are inversely proportional. In such a case, if the values of x are x1, x2, x3, etc., and the corresponding y values are y1, y2, y3, etc., then x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2 is equal to x3 y3 is equal to etc. is equal to k. Let's look at some of the day-to-day conditions where inverse proportions occurs. If a certain amount of money is to be divided, there will be a proportionate decrease in the amount of money in each part with the increase in the number of parts. In this way, the number of parts and the amount in each part will be inversely proportional. If square tiles are to be installed in a certain area, there will be a proportionate decrease in the number of tiles with an increase in the area of tiles. In this way, the area of tiles and the number of tiles will be inversely proportional. When the area of the rectangle is kept constant, there will be a decrease in the proportion of width as the length increases. Therefore, the length and the width of a rectangle with a fixed area are inversely proportional to each other. Similarly, find more situations where the inverse proportionality appears. So today we learned the properties of inverse proportion. In the next video, we will look at some examples related to it. Today we will see examples of inverse proportion. A hostel has a provision of 26 days of food items for 135 boys. If 60 more people come to this hostel, then how many days will this food item last? The quantity of food items here is fixed. In such a situation, if there is an increase in the number of boys, then the food items will also last for a shorter period of time. So here, the number of boys is inversely proportional to the number of days the food will last. The hostel has 26 days of food items for 135 boys. When 60 boys come to the hostel, then the number of boys will be 135 plus 60, which is equal to 195. Let us assume that in the hostel there will be a provision of X days food for 195 boys. If X is proportional to 1 by Y, then the values of X are X1, X2, X3, etc. and corresponding Y values for Y1, Y2, Y3, etc. respectively for X1, Y1 which is equal to X2, Y2 which is equal to X3, Y3 which is equal to etc. So, here we can say that 135 multiplied by 26 which is equal to 195 multiplied by Y2. Therefore, the number of days the food will last will be Y2 which is equal to 135 into 26 by 195 days which is equal to 18 days. In this way, if 60 boys come to this hostel, then this food item will last for 18 days. Let us now move to the next example. A farmer has to fill his rice in some sacks to carry it to the market. If he fills 30 kg of rice in each sack, then he will need 18 such sacks. If he fills 20 kg of rice in each sack, how many sacks will he need? We can represent the given information in a table like this, where the variable y2 represents the number of sacks. Can you tell whether the quantity of rice filled in each sack and the number of sacks are inversely proportional to each other? Think for a while. Let me explain. The quantity of rice here is fixed. If the farmer increases the amount of rice to be loaded in each sack, then the farmer will need less sacks in proportion. But if we decrease the amount of rice to be filled in each sack, we will need more sacks in proportion. In this way, the amount of rice to be filled in each sack and the number of sacks are inversely proportional to each other. In the case of proportions, we can say that if x is inversely proportional, then we can say that the values of x are x1, x2, x3, etc. and the corresponding values of y are y1, y2, y3, etc. x1, y1 which is equal to x2, y2 which is equal to x3, y3 which is equal to etc. So here we can say that 30 into 18 which is equal to 20 into y2. Hence the number of sacks required will be y2 which is equal to 30 into 18 by 20 which is equal to 27 sacks. So today we saw examples related to inverse proportion. In the next video, we will see some more examples related to it. Today we will see some more examples related to inverse proportion. If we make 8 parts of a field, the area of each part is 1182 meters square. How many parts of the field should be made to get the area of each part as 394 meters square? If the field is divided into 12 equal parts, what will be the area of each part? We can show the given information in a table like this, where x represents the number of parts of area 394 square meter. If a shape is divided into equal parts, then the area of the shape is divided equally into many parts. The more parts there are, the less will be the area of each part. In this way, we can say that the number of parts and the area of the parts are inversely proportional to each other. In terms of inverse proportions, we can say that 8 into 1182 which is equal to x into 394. That is, x is equal to 8 into 1182 divided by 394 which is equal to 24. In this way, the area of each part will be 394 meters square when 24 parts of the total area are made. Now let us find out the area of individual parts if the field is divided into 12 equal parts. Suppose in this case the area of each part is variable y. Since the number of parts and the area of each part are inversely proportional, so we can say that 8 into 1182 which is equal to 12 into y. That is, y is equal to 8 into 1182 by 12 which is equal to 788 meters square. You can find this result easily by looking at the table. Looking at the second and third position in the table, we find that the number of parts is halved. So the area under the inverse proportionality will be double. That is, when the number of parts is 12, then the area will be 2 into 394 meters square which is equal to 788 meters square. Let's see the next example. Vipul leaves from his home to attend school. He starts cycling at 8:15 a.m. If he cycles at a uniform speed of 15 km per hour, he reaches 3 minutes before the start of school. But if he cycles at a uniform speed of 9 km per hour, he reaches 5 minutes late from the start of school. Find the time of commencement of the school. Let's understand this question first. Here, we are given the relation between speed and time. Suppose the time left for school to start is X minutes. In this way, when Vipul cycles at a uniform speed of 15 km per hour, he reaches the school 3 minutes earlier, that is, X minus 3 in minutes. But when he cycles at a uniform speed of 9 km per hour, he reaches the school 5 minutes late, that is, X plus 5 in minutes. Since 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meter and 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes, we have 15 km per hour, which is equal to 15 into 1000 meters by 60 minutes, which is equal to 250 meters per minute. Similarly, we can write 9 km per hour as 150 meter per minute. We can show this in a table form like this. We know that if there is an increase in speed, then there is a proportional decrease in time. Therefore, speed and time are inversely proportional. In case of inverse proportion, 250 into x minus 3, which is equal to 150 into x plus 5. On solving this, we will get 100x, which is equal to 1500, that is, x is equal to 1500 by 100, which is equal to 15 minutes. That is, Vipul has 15 minutes to reach the school on the scheduled time. Therefore, we can say that Vipul's school starts 15 minutes after 8:15 am, that is, 8:30 am. That is, Vipul's school starts at 8:30 am. You should discuss with your teacher to find out whether it is necessary to equalize the units in this situation. These examples may have made your understanding about inverse proportion better. So today we saw some more examples related to inverse proportion.